Hi there. Later, a queer Christian clergy controversy. First though, how's this for an ally? The former American NFL player who's gotten himself arrested protesting against the country's anti-queer government. Chris Cluey held a peaceful demonstration during a council meeting in California. It was triggered by the approval of a plaque in a library referencing the Make America Great Again slogan. Loads of anti-LGBTQ+ measures brought in since the right-wing cult returned to power last month, and Chris is not a fan.
MAGA stands for trying to erase trans people from existence. MAGA stands for censorship and book bans. MAGA is profoundly corrupt, unmistakably anti-democracy, and most importantly, MAGA is explicitly a Nazi movement. You may have replaced a swastika with a red hat, but that is what it is.
The 43-year-old, who's now an author, spent 4 hours in custody. Staying in America, transgender prison inmates there could be moved to jails aligning with their sex at birth within the next few days. Their hormone treatments are also being discontinued. A lawsuit was filed late Friday attempting to stop this from happening, over fears it could massively jeopardise the inmates' safety. Vindictive and inhumane, just what you expect from an orange convicted felon and sexual abuser when you make him the president. And paintings portraying sexualized and queer Christian priests and nuns have gone on display in Mexico City. The work of artist Fabian Cherez uses Catholic imagery to explore intimacy and eroticism, and it's led to protests at the exhibition venue. There's a painting of 2 priests licking a massive candle and a clergyman kneeling on all fours to drink red wine from a cup. Is there any other way? Hi there. Later, a legal win for the 1975 over a gay kiss. First though, playing anti-queer bigots at their own game with pure sass. Britt Borrell from Wyoming in Americas used a committee meeting at the state legislature to protest its attacks on transgender rights. The constituent took on Republican Senator Tim French, who we don't like. The exchange began like this.
Next up is Britt.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. As the Senate overwhelmingly voted yes.
You can call me Mr. Chairman if you want.
Well, I cannot be compelled to use your preferred pronouns.
Now, this relates to him and his colleagues advancing plans to let people sue government organisations that enforce the use of preferred pronouns. Seems he's sort of had a change of heart, though.
I prefer to be called Chairman French. That's my preferred pronoun.
I know, and you all voted that preferred pronouns cannot be compelled speech. Anyway, my name is Britt Borrell, and I'm...
Ooh. She also told lawmakers to cut it out with the culture wars. 2 men have been sentenced to a public caning for having sex with each other in Indonesia. The college students, aged 18 and 24, were found together in a rented room when vigilantes who suspected they were gay broke in. An Islamic Sharia court in Aceh has given the Muslims 80 and 85 lashes, respectively. And do you remember how an onstage same-sex kiss between 2 members of the 1975 got a Malaysian music festival shut down? Well, legal action over the 2023 incident rumbles on. Now, a judge has ruled members of the band can't be held personally liable for losses incurred by the organisers. Good Vibes Festival wants nearly £2 million. The kiss was a protest against the country's anti-homosexuality laws. Hi there, it's all America today. Yeehaw! Later, big success for a trans non-binary runner. First though, we knew they wouldn't stop with transgender people. Right-wing lawmakers in 9 US states are now going after same-sex marriage. Measures include asking the Supreme Court to scrap the Obergefell v. Hodges decision that saw gay unions legalized across America. Michigan Republican Party halfwit Josh Shriver says he just wants to protect the sanctity of marriage.
Now is the time to do the right thing. Now is the time to reassert the sovereignty of Christ as our King. Now is the time to restore the authority of God and submit our will to He who knows what's best.
So, a perfectly stable individual And in case you're not convinced,
Has Obergefell v. Hodges not widened a portal where gays, queers, transsexuals, polygamists, minor attracted persons, and other perverts advance attacks on our children?
these right-wing bigots go on so much about protecting children, you wonder if it's some kind of double bluff. The case of a straight woman who reckons she lost 2 jobs to gay candidates reaches America's Supreme Court later. Marlene Ames says a gay supervisor at Ohio's Youth Services denied her a promotion and demoted her because she's hetero. The 60-year-old, who's already had 1 lawsuit dismissed, claims the gay man and woman she missed out to were less qualified than her. And trans non-binary runner Nikki Hiltz has been smashing it at the US Indoor Championships. They've won the 1500 and 3000 metre races at the event in New York. First time anyone's managed 5 consecutive 1500 metre titles, including indoor and outdoor tracks. Look at me talking about sport. Who does she think she is? Hi there. Later, anti-transers taken to task. We'll start though with the first out gay man on Australia's hockey team who reckons he owes a lot to Tom Daley. Davis Atkins says he sobbed watching the diver go public on his own sexuality in a video back in 2013. The Canberra Chill player tells ABC Tom coming out as queer was hugely significant for him as a teenager.
I think I watched it about 3 or 4 times because I couldn't get over just how tense it was for me. I just was a bit confused on why it took so long for me to process what he was saying and sort of understand why it was sort of clicking with me. So he has been, probably the first person that I would say that sort of helped me figure out who I was.
The 23-year-old says he's also been inspired by out Australian footballer Josh Cavallo. Hungary's far-right bigoted government says Budapest Pride should be in a closed venue this year to protect children. It's usually held in the city centre, out in the open, with a march down Ondrashy Avenue. We don't know if there's plans to force the event indoors and restrict access, thus protecting kids from rainbows and glitter. And Spain's first out transgender senator has been tearing her anti-trans colleagues a new one in Parliament. Carla Antonelli's attacked members of the far-right Vox party, which is working to scrap a law protecting transgender rights, told them they should feel ashamed for trying to eliminate a historically persecuted group and said, just leave us alone, for God's sake. No time to tell you that Apple's shareholders have rejected a proposal to scrap its diversity programs. And for the 9th year running, Malta's been named Europe's most queer-inclusive country. Hi there. Later, gay dating on a pet-sitting app. First though, 2 Senegalese migrants who tried to stop a homophobic murder in Spain have been honoured for their heroism. Ibrahima Diak and Magate Ndiaye are now adopted sons of the city of A Coruña. They stepped in as a mob attacked 24-year-old Samuel Luis Muniz outside a nightclub in 2021. He died in hospital from his injuries. European Parliament member Javier Moreno Sanchez spoke of his outrage at the time.
The assassination of poor Samuel is a barbarity that mindless youth gave a beating to a young person and took his life. And that barbarity doesn't belong in our society.
4 men were jailed last year. Ibrahima and Magate were the only people to intervene. Others stood by and watched, and some even filmed the attack. Perhaps not the biggest surprise, Turkey's looking at anti-queer legislation when its president's previously labelled LGBTQ+ people a threat to society. He wants to outlaw the promotion of our rights and raise the age the gender reassignment process can begin. Plus, anyone conducting same-sex marriage ceremonies would be jailed. And a bit of fun to end the week. If you're not having much luck gay dating, why don't you try a pet-sitting app? TikToker Sean Bates has been using one called Rover to raise some cash by looking after people's dogs. And you might say he ended up with a different kind of hound on his hands.
This tall, beautiful man walks out and during the dog introduction, and he's just like, hey, he asked me for my number. Not weird because I'm taking care of his dog. And then we start texting, not like I'm taking care of your dog. This is not a common experience, but like, I'm okay with this.
The pair are going to hang out, but Sean says it's probably got to be a friend thing because he plans on moving abroad. No time to tell you that. An LGBTQ+ cruise has rescued 11 refugees in the Gulf of Mexico. You've got the Brussels Rave for Ukraine late tonight, raising money for queer people affected by the war. And it's Purple Friday in Scotland, fundraising and showing support for LGBTQ+ young people. I'm Kev McGraw. See you next week.